reaches over gloves. He throws out at first. Oh, my goodness. He's kidding me or what? Just give him a gold glove right now. It's been the play of the year so far for the Brewers. The phenom shortstop, 22-year-old Orlando Arcia, turned in a gem last night to preserve a victory, and the Brewers start play today a game and a half ahead of the Chicago Cubs in the National League Central. Hi, everybody. We welcome you from Miller Park. Great to have you with us today. I'm Brian Anderson along with Bill Schroeder. Sophia Minard is our reporter. Well, what a ball game last night. Domingo Santana hit a two-run home run to put the Brewers on top. That great play by Arcia, that great play by Eric Thames to secure that out. And we got to talk a little bit about this shortstop now because he's putting together an impressive reel of highlight plays.
You know, it's not often you get a guy with such big accolades down in the minor leagues coming up to the big leagues and surpassing all expectations. I mean, I don't think anybody ever expected this kind of play out of Orlando Arcia, only 23 years old. Good range in the hole, good range up the middle, comes in on baseballs. He does everything right at the shortstop position. Every now and again, he'll get lazy with a throw and commit an error, but for the most part, he has been outstanding. I mean, making all the routine plays, a lot of the great plays, and certainly right in the middle of a lot of great defensive plays for the Brewers this year.
Defensive runs saved is a key defensive statistic. Defensive stats and analytics, by the way, are still a work in progress. It's still hard to quantify how good a player is, but those that are on the board, Orlando Arcia ranks at the top of the major leagues right now. The most chances, so he's getting a lot of opportunities with a lot of balls put in play, and there you see the double plays, the putouts, and he is certainly saving a ton of runs. He did last night to help preserve the win. Well, the Brewers will have their best on the mound. Chase Anderson, Chase the ace so far this year for Milwaukee, will set the pitching matchup right after this.
I think the biggest thing for me was that game, then going to New York and continue to like you said, continue to build off that outing against Arizona. The biggest thing in the game against New York too was being able to command the fastball for those 7 innings, and then the cutter came into play and the curveball. But the biggest thing for me, obviously, I think through this stretch is just being able to command all 4 pitches, and when I do get in a jam, know I have enough weapons to go to get out of that jam. So the guys have made, I think one game I had 4 or 5 double plays behind me. I mean, the defense has been spectacular, but I think that goes back to just continue to attack the zone, let your defense work, and this offense is going to score runs. So it's been fun.
And he's been fun to watch. Chase Anderson starting to find the sweet spot of his career now in his 4th season. His last 5 starts, an ERA just over 1. His mound opponent this afternoon, Ivan Nova. He's been one of the Pirates' best pitchers since they acquired him last year in August. 2 of the best as far as ERA ranking in the National League, going at it here this afternoon. Will we see more Orlando magic at Miller Park? It's the Brewers and the Pirates. Lineups, first pitch coming up.
And I was able to hang on to it, and it was amazing play. Like, everybody's so fired up right now.
Well, as I was yelling, "Don't throw it," that's probably what stands out the most. That's his play for sure. And it took a great play on Eric's side.
Yeah, what a great moment last night. Orlando Arcia launched himself into the national spotlight with that play, but don't forget, Eric Dames is the one who secured it all. Today's game on Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. We got a beautiful day for baseball, nice and warm, 83 degrees. Humidity's up here in Milwaukee today. Brian Anderson, Bill Schroeder, Sophia Minard, our Emmy Award-winning reporter. Today's game being produced by Brent Reeland and directed by Mark Vittorio. Great to have you all with us. Clint Hurdle and the Pirates for the 4th and final game of this series. The Pirates won the first 2 games, 8-1 and then 7-3, and then the Brewers won that thriller last night. Potawatomi batting order, John Jaso, who made the last out. He had the ball in play on that Orlando play last night. He'll lead off. Josh Harrison hits second. Polanco hits third. In the middle it goes Josh Bell, Elias Diaz, Andrew McCutcheon, and then Max Moroff will be the switch hitting second baseman. Jordy Mercer hits 8th, and then Ivan Nova rounds the starting lineup out for the Pirates. And there is Chase Anderson, and Rocky's been terrific. He matches up with Ivan Nova, who's been terrific. You figure something might have to give today.
Yeah, no kidding. Two guys that are in the top 10 in earned run average. Chase Anderson, 292, good for 6th in the National League, and his home earned run average at 2.03. Outstanding work out of Chase, and he's been able to command all of his pitches so far this year, making start number 9 career against Pittsburgh. He's currently 3-2.
Umpiring crew in place. That'll be Dan Bellino to call the balls and strikes. Mike Easterbrook is the first base umpire. Marvin Hudson at second. And the crew chief, Jerry Lane, is at third base. He had the plate last night. All the pieces in place. We're ready to play ball on a Thursday afternoon in Milwaukee. Chase Anderson deals. John Jaso swings. And away we go. I think Jaso had some damage in mind.
Yeah, I think Jaso thought he had a game-tying base hit last night in the 9th inning. Not to be.
Jaso back-to-back starts. He started in right field last night for Polanco. Gets the call in left field today. Pirates did put their starting catcher Francisco Cervelli on the 7-day concussion disabled list before the game. They have brought up a catcher, Jacob Stallings, and they still carry 3 catchers. It is Elias Diaz who gets the start for the Buccos today. It'll be his second start of the series. So Hurdle trying to find the right combinations. A ball club that's been playing pretty well. They had won 7 of their last 10 before the Brewers beat them last night. Brewers have a 5-game lead over Pittsburgh in the National League Central. Pittsburgh right now is 4th in the division behind the Cardinals and the Cubs. Cubs are a game and a half back of the Brewers as we interplay on this Thursday. There's a strikeout. Chase Anderson with his signature pitch, the changeup, and a good way to get the day started.
Well, let's check out your Menards defense for today. Behind Chase Anderson, Perez, Broxton, Santana. Santana, the hitting star last night, 3 RBIs. Hey, Shaw, Arcia, Sogard, Thames, and Jet Bandy getting a start behind home plate. He is normally behind home plate with Chase on the mound.
Manny Pena started 4 consecutive games, so Bandy's getting a starting nod for the first time on this 5th day. Back with Chase Anderson as Josh Harrison, a swing and a miss, put a fastball by him. Harrison hitting .297. He has 3 hits in this series, including a couple of doubles.
And he has hit Chase Anderson very well in his career. Currently at 7 for 12 with a home run.
Pirates have a few hot hitters that Anderson will have to deal with today. Harrison's one of them. Jordy Mercer, Andrew McCutchen, all swinging the bat well at this point. The Brewers are headed to Atlanta after the game today. They'll start a series with the Braves in their brand new ballpark beginning tomorrow night. We'll have that for you on Fox Sports Wisconsin as Harrison is hit by a pitch. Another one. That's the 4th time in this series he's been hit by a pitch.
Yeah, trying to pitch him inside, and Anderson let that one get away a little bit. Yeah, Harrison really not on top of home plate, but his first move is toward the plate. Fastball in way off the inside corner and gets a piece of him. A glancing blow off the hip.
The major league leader in hit by pitches, Josh Harrison. Part of the problem with Harrison is, at least part of the issue for a pitcher, is that you have to pitch inside on him. If he gets his arms extended, he can do damage. He's a lot like McCutchen in that regard. Harrison with 15 occasions where he's been hit by a pitch. So a base runner for Gregory Polanco.
And always a stolen base threat, Josh Harrison.
Pirates, as we've seen in this series, have been very aggressive on the bases, trying to take extra bases on pitches in the dirt. The stolen base, they look to extend singles into doubles and doubles into triples. It's risky. It has worked more than it has not in this series. Although yesterday Harrison might have ran him out of a big inning potentially when he was thrown out at third base.
Well, you see more and more of that kind of aggressive base running with just about every team. Making outs on the base is not a big deal anymore.
Anderson controls the running game well, and Bandy has a very good throwing arm behind the plate for the Brewers. So that's a good combo for Milwaukee, all part of what Craig Counsell calls the run prevention unit. Defense, a pitcher that has a quick move and a quick release to the plate, catcher with a good strong throwing arm. Brewers have made a lot of errors, but they are a dynamic defensive team. A lot of those errors, a bulk of them, came in the first month of the season. And you have so many players, Rock, who have not been in regular roles in the major leagues, especially in the infield. And so we're seeing the great plays. I think for the manager's perspective, he'd like to see more of the routine plays.
Yeah, those are the ones you have to do. They have turned a lot of double plays. It was a big help for him in yesterday's game.
Harrison goes. The pitch is way inside and no chance for a throw from Bandy. And it'll be a stolen base for Josh Harrison.
But with good defense comes good pitching. When you limit the opponent to 3 outs per inning, it's going to help. And there's a big lead, good jump. Harrison with good speed. And because of the pitch, Bandy no chance to make a throw. That one way inside.
Almost hit Polanco. Number 9 on the season. Harrison with his 3rd in the series. And Polanco's up there with a chance to drive in a run early today.
You know, Arce was standing right on top of second base when that pitch was on its way. It just stayed there. Looking for a pickoff, didn't get it. A lot of times when you do that, you step off to make sure your defense is in the proper spot.
One and 2 the count to Gregory Polanco. Big part of the Pirates' future, signing a long-term deal with Pittsburgh that could potentially run through the 2023 season. Pirates have a couple of team options at the end of the contract, which expires in 2021. Can't keep them all, but Polanco is a guy that they are hoping to keep around Pittsburgh for a long time. He's having a down season so far, just 4 homers and 17 RBIs. Spent some time on the disabled list earlier in the year. He saws one off, fouls it back.
Yeah, Pirates very liberal with their long-term contracts. Some of them have worked out, some have not. Young players, you know, that maybe have had a good year or two and they signed a long-term deal. Sometimes it has benefited the Pirates. There have been times where they've gotten burned by that. So it was a risky deal. If a guy has a good year plus and signed a long-term deal, you just don't know what you have yet.
Polanco did spend a little time on the DL with a hamstring injury. His left hamstring. And he missed 5 games. Two and 2 the count. 1 man out. We're just underway on a Thursday afternoon. Josh Harrison at second base. And Polanco sends one high in the air, shallow left. Perez got a good break on it, and he'll make the play for out number 2.
They got the fastball in on him a little bit, and that's because of all those off-speed pitches that Anderson features. Now you go through the scouting report on Chase Anderson, and you're the Pirates, and you're going up to the plate. You're not really sure what you're going to get at any time. That's why he's had such a good start to his season. All 4 of his pitches have been very good, very consistent.
That'll bring up Josh Bell, switch hitting first baseman. He was mired in a long slump. He had been dealing with a 1 for 13 stretch until a couple of hits and a walk last night. Hit a home run last night. He's a good player. Looks like a good hitter. A player that is, you don't want to call him slump proof, but the long extended slumps, he has not really dealt with that as a big league player. He's still classified as a rookie, and he has a chance to set a rookie franchise record in Pirates history for home runs prior to the All-Star break. He is just too shy of the great Ralph Kiner, the Hall of Famer. Kiner hit 15 prior to the All-Star break in 1946. Josh Bell hit number 13 yesterday.
Yep, gave the Pirates a 3-1 lead. The Brewers able to come back, jump off the mat down by a couple of runs late. And Bell is he's switch hitter and pretty good from both sides of the plate.
2-0 the count on Bell with Harrison at second, and a little soft liner is going to fall, and this is going to bring in a run. And the Pirates score early tonight, and it's been a similar formula for Pittsburgh. Harrison gets on, he steals a base, and now he comes in to score on a single by Bell.
Yep, change up from Anderson, and Bell does a really good job waiting back just long enough. He got the end of the bat on it and dumping it into center field. That bat stays in the hitting zone a long time. Nice level swing. Pretty good pitch, but scores a run.
Josh Bell with his 32nd RBI. And Pittsburgh is on the board first today at Miller Park, 1-0 Pirates. That'll bring up Elias Diaz. Diaz making his 13th start for Pittsburgh. And he figures to get the bulk of the playing time now that Cervelli is out. Cervelli on that 7-day concussion list. The Pirates are carrying 3 catchers. Chris Stewart got the start last night. Diaz has hit well in his 12 starts prior to this game. And that was really the big question for Diaz. Was he going to be able to hit in the big leagues? In his 12 starts this year, he's hitting .356.
Doesn't get cheated up there. I mean, this guy takes a mighty hack. Talk all you want about his offense, but he was very impressive a couple of nights ago behind home plate. Good skills, quick feet, good throwing arm.
Yeah, very strong arm. He threw out a runner at third in the game 2 days ago. Diaz has hit for some power too during this stretch in this 12 starts. These are spot starts, if you will, for a catcher. Cervelli's been getting most of the playing time, and for a backup catcher to get this kind of production, 4 doubles, he's homered, he's had 10 RBIs in his 12 starts to go along with that .356 batting average. 1-2, runner goes. Bandy's throw to second is on the wrong side of the bag, and Bell is safe. And another stolen base.
It's been a while for Jet behind home plate. Not only do you have to shake the rust off at the plate, sometimes you have to shake the rust off behind home plate. Good throw is probably going to get Bell, but on the wrong side of the bag.
Bell is not considered a base stealer. That's only his 2nd of the year. But he saw something he liked in the delivery or release of Anderson and took a shot. Now he's at second. 2-2 the count on the Pittsburgh catcher. And he got him a strikeout to end the inning. 2 Ks for Chase, but the Pirates score. Josh Bell with an RBI, and the Brewers are coming up. first now. The Brewers are coming up for the first time against Ivan Nova. And Craig Counsell trying to put together a winning lineup today. He has Eric Sogard leading off, followed by Eric Thames, then Domingo Santana. Rest of the Potawatomi batting order is Shaw, Perez, and Bandy, with Broxton, Arcia, and Anderson rounding out the starting 9. Ivan Nova, Rock, he was an acquisition last year in August by the Pirates, and he has been excellent for them during his time in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, first 7 years of his career spent with the New York Yankees. He's won 2 in a row, 12 quality starts of his 14 starts this year. You know, that earned run average at 291, good for 5th in the National League. Look at the walks to strikeouts, only 9 walks, 54 strikeouts for Ivan Nova. He throws a lot of strikes.
A strikeout to walk ratio of 6-1 at this point. There's a strike to Eric Sogard. Sogard comes in hitting .352. 3 home runs, 14 RBIs as a Brewer, and he pulls that one fair inside the bag. It's going to hit the sidewall. Sogard is going to head to second base, and it is a leadoff double, and he keeps on keeping on. Nerd power alive and well in Milwaukee.
It's been amazing. I mean, what a nice pickup it was in the offseason. David Stearns, little insurance in the middle of the infield. Who would have known he'd be such a good leadoff hitter? Has even been productive against lefties, and a good start for the Brewers offensively. A leadoff double. Guy's been a nice surprise. He's been pretty good at second base as well.
He has not committed an error out there. Made a brilliant play yesterday to start a double play. Double number 11 for Sogard. That extends his hitting streak to 10 in a row. And he's at second for Eric Thames. Thames had a day off from the starting lineup last night. He did come in and contribute. He came in a pinch hit role and drove in a run as part of the 3-run inning that allowed the Brewers to take the lead and eventually win the game. Sogard had Thames had an RBI on a ground out in the 7th. And then a few batters later, Domingo Santana hit a 2-run home run to put the Brewers ahead for good. A lot to recommend in last night's game. Spectacular defense. Brewers got some timely hits. The big home run by Santana, who had not homered in 2 weeks. And a much needed win last night. Thames into left center, base hit. Sogard will wind it up. He'll score, and just like that, the Brewers tie it up. Didn't take him long.
Nice. That's a good at bat for Eric Thames, just punching that ball into left field. Well, you get to these guys early. These guys that settle in, they rely on command. That pitch up. It was off the outside corner, but Thames thinking left field all the way. And you see it at 82, then throw hard and able to dump it into left. Brewers tie it quickly.
Double and a single to start the game offensively for the Brewers. Thames now with 40 runs batted in. Snaps an 0 for 15 at the plate. And he has tied it at 1 for Domingo Santana. Now, Arcia deserved the headlines last night and got a lot of them. But Santana and Thames certainly had their place in last night's win. Thames' pick on that throw by Arcia was a great piece of defensive work as well. Rock, you played first base in the big leagues. There are 2 easy picks, right? The long hop, the really short hop. That was the one that was the most challenging.
In between. And I'll tell you what, if he doesn't pick that short hop, we're having a completely different discussion about the play by Orlando Arcia, whether he should have, whether he should throw the baseball. And because Thames was able to make that tremendous play on the other end, it was a great play. It's one of those things, you know, we were talking about it on the post-game show last night. It's like watching a basketball game where a guy just heaves one, you know, long 3-pointer, and everybody's yelling no, and then it goes in, everybody says yes. That's kind of what that was. That's a heck of a pick right there for Eric Thames.
A backhanded pick at that to preserve the win last night. Santana rolls over one to third. Over to second for one is Harrison, and Bell hangs on to the baseball. That was a beautiful double play by the Pirates.
Yeah, let's see if that foot was on the bag. You knew that Craig Counts was going to want to look at that.
Bell had a little snow cone at the end of that glove. Called out on the field, a 5-4-3 double play.
It looks like he's got the bag. I don't think the Brewers are going to challenge that, not in the first inning.
Got a little first base clinic going here.
Man,
wasn't the greatest footwork by Josh Bell when you even consider we just saw the Thames play yesterday, but he made the play. Long wingspan of Josh Bell and 2 quick outs.
And let's check out the Menards defense. Jason, McCutcheon, Polanco in the outfield. You got Harrison, Mercer on the left. Moroff gets a start at second base, his first start of the series. Josh Bell at first, and you've got Diaz, his second start behind home plate.
That's the Pirates defense turning in a nice around the horn double play to get 2 men out. And now Travis Shaw.
But everybody talking about that Arcia play after the Brewers able to come back from a 3-run deficit. It was in the 8th inning, right? 7th, 8th inning?
7th inning, 3-run 7th,
yeah.
right?
You had Domingo Santana coming up with 3 RBIs, the big home run, you know, to give him the lead. But when you make a play to end a game like that, you don't see that every day.
You start getting the big superlatives coming out, and I'll tell you, from my perspective, I've been thinking about this all night. We've seen all these games, at least in my time here, 11 years. I don't think I've seen a better play, especially when you consider the circumstances.
Right.
I talked to the Pirates announcers as well, and both echoed their thoughts. One of the best plays they've ever seen. And so when you start getting folks having that kind of discussion,
right,
it's hard to say the best when you are in this game. You can say among the best for sure, but I mean, it was a special play by a young guy who, as you poignantly pointed out in the open, is exceeding expectations. Shaw sends one deep center field, way back, goodbye. Solo home run for Travis Shaw. Bernie will hit the slide, and the Brewers add to their lead. Shaw, number 14 on the year. 49 runs batted in, and it's 2-1 Milwaukee.
And really not a bad pitch. I mean, Travis waits back nicely on this pitch. And it's a breaking ball. Yeah, it's over the plate but down. He just goes down there and levels his swing out. You see the way he bends his knees and drives it out of here. And the Brewers with a 2 spot in the first.
Arcia like that one. Travis Shaw, in a very small sample size, has had great success against Nova. That's his 5th career hit, his 2nd career home run against Ivan Nova. Former Red Sox Shaw, former Yankee Nova. Hernan Perez pulls one, fair. What a play by Harrison, to his feet, throw to first, not in time. Ball pops out of the glove of Bell, and that'll be an infield hit for Hernan Perez to keep this inning alive.
And not sure he would have been out even had Bell been able to keep it in the glove. Perez runs well down the line, but that's a heck of an effort by Josh Harrison. You know, the more you see this Harrison kid, the more you like him. I mean, good hitter. He has a real good knack for getting on base. You can play him anywhere. He's been playing in the outfield at times. That's a heck of a play. Just a little bit short on the throw, but I think Perez would have beat it anyway. Pretty impressive stuff out of Josh Harrison.
Josh Harrison was an all-star in 2014, essentially as a leadoff, or rather a utility man. He's always been a good hitter, and he gives you a lot defensively as well. Can move all over the field. Second base is his primary position, but we've seen him in the outfield. We've seen him play third base.
He has that enthusiasm on a daily basis. I mean, he's got it going every day. You don't see, it doesn't seem as though he has a down day as far as his attitude. We don't see him much, but from what we've seen.
Well, that'll give Jed Bandy an at-bat here in the first inning. 4 hits in the inning. There goes the runner Perez. Throw to second, and Perez is in. What a throw by Diaz.
From his knees.
Most catchers wouldn't even throw with a jump like that. And he almost got him.
And he has an exceptional throwing arm. Not a big lead, but a pretty good jump. And that high leg kick, number 5 for Perez, and he gets in there safely. Good throw by Diaz once again.
Got a huge jump. Diaz with a rifle to second base. That's something to put in the memory bank for later. Jed Bandy now a runner in scoring position. Bandy trying to break from a slump. This game is so mental. Most challenging game there is on the mental side. 0 for 23 currently is the slump for Bandy.
And sometimes you feel like there's a hole in the bat. You feel like you see it well, you put a good swing on it, you just come up empty. Very frustrating situation.
That's a breaking ball in there for a strike right at the top of the zone.
The only way out of it is keep swinging.
Yeah, he knows the deal. He hasn't been in the starting lineup. They've been essentially, he and Manny Pena, playing every other day or every third day, and Bandy has been down for 4 days with Pena swinging the bat well and getting the bulk of the starts. You just try to fight your way out of it. He's 1 for his last 37. Got off to a great start on the season. Matter of fact, he was hitting in the upper 280s prior to this long slump. Did he go? He did not. Checks the swing.
And sometimes it's not as complicated as swinging your way out of these stretches, but sometimes you wait back, you see some pitches, and all of a sudden you just get it. You see the baseball, and then you start, swinging the bat better, getting your hits. A lot of times that'll start with a walk.
2-2 the count. Runner at second is Perez, and Bandy a little late, fouls it back. And isn't it always the case when you're in a slump like this? You're perpetually in a 2-strike count. Feels like you step up to the plate 0-2.
Yeah, I mean, what they say in the dugout. You say he's at 0-2 in the on deck circle.
Well, he'll come out of it.
Yeah.
You got to take the Ryan Braun mental approach. That means I'm just one at bat closer to breaking out of it. Nova deals and he hits Bandy. Got him on a 2-strike pitch. And Bandy is on.
Take that any day of the week.
A shaky start for Ivan Nova, and the Brewers have a chance to do big damage now.
Getting a glancing blow just like the one that hit Josh Harrison. Here comes Ray Searage, and not often, I would imagine, you see a meeting on the mound with Nova getting a start because he's been so good this year. He's only had 2 starts where he's allowed more than 3 runs. 12 of his 14 starts have been quality starts. He does have a complete game.
And you mentioned the 3 runs. There was an occasion where he gave up 4 runs in Atlanta, but went 8 1/3 in that game and won the game. It was a 9-4 victory. So it was a game where the Pirates had a little bit of a cushion, a lead. He kind of pitched to that lead.
And that's not a quality start. That's bogus, isn't it?
You're right. It should be.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a quality start. Just not by the letter of the law. The law that our good buddy John Lowe invented with the Detroit Free Press. The quality start. That's at least 6 innings and 3 runs or fewer will get you a quality start. Now, Junior Guerra had a quality start last night.
Yeah.
So here's Broxton after the mound visit. Nova back to work. 2 on, 2 outs.
3 runs in 6 innings is a .450 earned run average. You think a pitcher would be happy with that at the end of the year? Maybe. maybe nowadays. You certainly keep your team in the game when you go 6 innings and give up 3 runs. Right. Yep.
That is the truth. Even if it's 3-0, you're still in the game. Last night was a perfect example of that. Guerra left the game, 6 innings, 3 runs. The Brewers were down 3-1. Came back to win it. Guerra didn't have his A stuff yesterday, but he battled. This is a spot you're looking for another quick strike if you're the Brewers. You got a very good pitcher on the ropes early. 2 runs are in. RBIs from Thames and a home run by Travis Shaw. And a hot hitter at the plate in Keon Broxton, who can launch with the best of them. 1-2. Ooh, just missed.
Yeah, good take on the curveball. And when he has that curveball working, I mean, he can have himself a pretty good outing. He's been inconsistent with it at times. Well, that good one is a hammer, and that's normally his strikeout pitch. That's a good take right there from Keon Broxton.
Broxton has 12 runs batted in his last 11 games and 5 homers in his last 11. 2 on, 2 out. Here's a 2-2 pitch. High pitch count early. That's what you want. Trying to lay a ton of pitches on the opposing starter. He's trying to ease his way into the game, and the Brewers offense is having none of that in this first inning. 2-2. Broxton lays off. They'll ask if he went. He did not. And now it's 3-2, and now both runners will get a head start. That'll put Perez and Bandy in motion, with Arcia due next.
Yep, he didn't go. Good call down at first base.
Nova shaking off a number of suggestions by his catcher Diaz, who wants to start over now. He's got the one he wants. Runners go. Broxton fouls it away. Count remains at 3-2. Part of Nova's game is that he is an efficient pitcher. Brock told you about all of those starts going 6 or 7 innings. He has a couple of outings where he's gone 8. Had a complete game earlier this year in Miami. Runners go, and a swing and a miss. Broxton strikes out to end the inning. The Brewers scored twice, though. Get an RBI from Thames to drive in Sogard, and then Travis Shaw with a 2-out homer. Bernie with a quick trip down the slide. 2-1 Milwaukee, off and running at Miller Park.
home run gives the Brewers a 2-1 lead. Chase Anderson back to work on the mound. Our scoops from the clubhouse brought to you by Car Soup. Talking with Chase Anderson about his last month. He's gone 3-1 in his last 5 starts. The earned run average just over 1. And Anderson said it's certainly been the most locked in he's been as a pitcher. And he gave a lot of credit to the pitching coach, Derek Johnson, for the work that they've put in. He says Johnson just continues to challenge him. He said there's certain things mechanically that they've tweaked, and even his pregame routine in terms of how he warms up, also in his bullpens. And he said even within the game, you know, if it's a 2-0 count, he'll step off the mound, take a moment to regroup. He said there are little things that Johnson does that continues to challenge him, and Anderson gave him credit. He said to have a pitching coach like that who cares about you as much as Johnson does, good or bad, he wears it just as much as the pitchers do. So it was a nice comment for Derek Johnson.
Yeah, you like to hear players acknowledge the coaching staff as well. Those guys put in so much time and so much effort. McCutchen leads off for the Pirates, and he's a little late. Pops this one up. Got a fastball by him, a touch, and McCutchen is the first out of the second inning. Chase Anderson, month by month, started in April, was 2-0. His ERA was stellar at 2.10. Had a rough patch there in May. There was one very bad start against the Chicago Cubs that blew up that earned run average a little bit.
Yeah, 6 runs in 4 innings in that start, but other than that, he's been terrific. I mean, really hadn't had any other bad starts. I think it's good that Chase Anderson highlighted Derek Johnson. We don't talk enough about him. Don't give him enough credit for what he's been able to do, particularly with the starting rotation for the Brewers. You know, the first 2 games of this series, they got knocked around a little bit, but you know, since the end of May, these guys have been pretty good. One of the best starting rotations in the big leagues.
Max Moroff getting his first start of the series. 2-0 the count. Yeah, the Brewers took a bit of a flyer with Derek Johnson. He had just entered into the pro game with the Cubs after a great career as a pitching coach at the collegiate level with Vanderbilt. Wow, did that bat blow up? Oh, he splintered it.
Look at the end of that thing.
You can tell that bat's been around a while too. Look at all the marks on it. So he's been using that one for a while. I'm sure he's been using that one in the minor leagues.
Those are marks from the tee, I think.
Probably. Yeah, you're right.
Right off the end of the bat. That's that cup bat. That's what happens. Looks like one of those exploding cigars. Right off the end. They don't make them like they used to.
What, Hickory? Swinging a foul tip in and out of the glove of Bandy.
You know, those cup bats, I mean, when you put them on the end like that, I mean, you hit them just so, they will literally split right down the middle. You know, the bats are lighter these days. They have the small handles, the big barrels, and those are the ones that blow up on you.
Unlike those big bats Babe Ruth used to use, those Hickory bats, they never broke.
Right.
What were they, about 45 ounces?
Yeah. 40 inches, 40 ounces. Guys are typically these days 34, 32.
There's a swing and a miss. Changeup from Anderson on a 3-2 pitch. And a strikeout for Chase, number 3 for him already.
Yep, his go-to pitch, and what's made him good this year have been those 2 off-speed pitches, the curveball and changeup. And he's not afraid to throw him in any count. Right on that outside corner, maybe a little bit off with that late movement. But as he said on the pregame show today, it all starts with fastball command. And that's the way it is with every pitcher.
Anderson has had a little extra zip on his fastball this season. We've seen him as fast as 97 this year, which is not what we expected from Chase Anderson. That makes a big difference. There's a good curveball. Wow, Mercer out in front of that one. Perfectly located, and it's 0-2.
It's that curveball straight down, and that ball started out about the letters, ended up down around the shoe tops.
No balls, 2 strikes. Ooh, we got him. Late call, but a punch out nonetheless. Anderson with a strikeout to end the inning. 1-2-3 frame, and now Orlando Arcia ready to lead off as we go to the home second. Spins, throw to first. Wow. In time. Back up the middle. Arcia ranges over gloves. He throws and out at first. What a play, Orlando Arcia. He's put together quite the highlight reel of defensive gems. The young shortstop, and Arcia will lead off here in the second inning. Nova back to work, deals strike one. You get plays like that, and as Eric Thames put last night, it energizes a ball club when you have a shortstop or a defensive player that can make these kind of plays.
Yeah, we talked about it last night at great length after the game, saying that he's fearless out there. He is not afraid to make a mistake, and that's the way you have to play this game.
Bouncing ball to second base. Arcia is retired.
Can't be tentative. You really can't. You can't really second guess yourself as things go. He made a concerted effort once he got to that baseball. I'm making a throw. And whether that was the right decision or not, it worked out because of the great play by Eric Thames. But we talked about expectations. Everybody was hearing about how good he was at shortstop. And he has far exceeded anything I could have ever imagined he would be able to do at this point.
Carlos Subero has been with him throughout the Brewers minor league system. His manager in Double-A, and knows him well, and has told us for years that that particular play that Arcia made last night, the two that we showed you coming out of the break, those are the plays that he makes all the time, and we haven't seen a lot of those ranging to the left. And I thought you made a good point last night, and you think about great defensive shortstops. You know, typically they're better going one way or the other. Arcia would probably feel like he's best going to his left. He's making plays all over though. The pitcher, Chase Anderson, just beats it out for a base hit. Polanco was trying to cut him down on the old 9-3 shameful putout.
Yeah, well, you can do that when you're playing so shallow. I mean, with pitchers up, typically you're going to play a lot shallower in the outfield. And Anderson, as soon as he made contact, he realized, he saw where Polanco was playing, and he knew he better bust it down the line. And he's just able to beat it. You see how close he is to that baseball. He didn't have very far to go to get it, and Anderson able to beat it by just a little bit.
Polanco has a great throwing arm, but the pitcher is aboard with a base hit, and first time through the batting order, the Brewers with 5 hits. They go 5 for 8 with a hit batter. Sogard, a shot past a diving Moroff into right center. And Anderson knows all too well that arm from Polanco. He'll hold his ground at second. And the hits are coming fast for Milwaukee. The strike thrower Nova. Brewers are up there aggressively swinging away.
I'll tell you, Sogard making it look easy up there at the plate. Fastball out away from him, hits it hard. He barrels it up out of the reach of Moroff, and yeah, just 2 for 2. Just a typical day at the office for Sogard. You know what he is? He's a professional hitter. I mean, that's what guys like he are described as. You know, he gives you a good at bat no matter what the situation is. He understands his situation and puts his at bat together accordingly.
2 more hits today for Sogard. That gets Thames to the plate with 1 out and 2 on. Snapping an 0 for 15 streak at the plate. Got to be feeling good about himself.
A professional hitter is a guy that will adjust his approach based on what a team needs at the given time. If you need a walk, he'll take some pitches. Guys pitching your way, he's going to go to the opposite field, not just going up there trying to go for the fences.
Bouncing ball. Bell goes to second. Out there. Return throw not in time. Pirates get 1 out. It'll be the 2nd out of the inning. Thames will reach on a fielder's choice. And they are at the corners now with 2 away for Santana. Santana bounced into a 5-4-3 double play. It's an excellent play by Harrison. Last night, stepped up into a big spot. Delivered a 2-run homer. Number 12 on the year for Santana. And RBIs number 37 and 38 with that swing last night.
Yep, a two-out homer.
Santana drove in 3 runs last night in the 4-3 Milwaukee win. Thames had the other RBI. Domingo was 2 for 4. He also had a 2-out RBI single in the game yesterday. It's one thing to drive in 3 runs. It's another to drive them all in with 2 outs in an inning, especially when they put your team ahead.
Backbreakers, those 2-out RBIs.
He's down 0-2. 6 hits against Nova at this point. The Brewers stranded 2 last inning. Santana's got him at the corners. And he just hangs in there. With a flick of the wrist, he's able to foul that one off.
And he's got that curveball working pretty well. He was a little inconsistent with it in the first inning, but this inning a little bit better.
Able to lay off that time. Good take by Santana. Brewers scored 2 in the first. Thames had an RBI single. Shaw hit a homer. Threatening with 2 outs in the second. And he got a strikeout to end the inning. So Nova gives up 2 more hits but strands a pair. And we're on our way to the 3rd inning. Milwaukee Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Well, the Brewers with a big win last night have a chance to split this 4-game series with the Buccos of Pittsburgh, division rivals. And the Brewers are 5 games up on the Pirates in the standings. Chase Anderson with that long trek around the base paths last inning after he delivered with a single with 1 out, getting a little extra time to get loose. And that gives us a chance to break down the last 5 starts for Chase Anderson. That home victory against the Arizona Diamondbacks started this run, and then he was terrific against the New York Mets. Backed that 11 strikeout performance up with 7. Came back against the Giants, got a win in 7 2/3 innings, no runs, only 1 earned run on the road. He took a loss in that game, and then backed it up with a terrific start against San Diego. So his last 5, it's an ERA just over 1.
Yeah, last 5 starts, he allowed all of 4 earned runs. 3 of those came in his last outing. 2 home runs against the Padres he allowed, and before that, won 4 consecutive starts without allowing a home run.
Well, Anderson fine-tuning everything, right? I said as we hit the air, he's found the sweet spot of his pitching career at this point in his 4th year in the major leagues, his 2nd year as a Brewer. He was disappointed to no end how the season finished last year. He didn't feel like he was strong enough to go through the rigors of a full season as a major league starter, and he tended to that this offseason. And one of the ancillary results out of that is he has come out throwing about 2 to 3 miles an hour harder.
Yeah, a lot of leg work, getting himself in really good shape. Not that he wasn't in good shape before, but a little bit different program. And you're right, because of that, he's hit 95, 96 miles an hour at times.
Makes a play on Nova, his mound opponent, and that'll be the first out of the inning. Well, if you go back to July 25th of last season, even though the numbers were good for Chase, again, I mentioned he said he didn't feel strong at the end of the year, but he was pitching his way to success. But you take it back now, and so you're talking about essentially a full season, last half of last year, first half of this year, and he's sitting on a 2.86 ERA. And if you mark that point, some of the best in the game are on this list. He is with the 4th lowest ERA. He flies under the radar. He is not a big name that folks around the country, baseball fans, would think about, but he has certainly pitched his way into that A status in Brewers camp at this point.
Yeah, and in that stretch you just saw that good earned run average, but he got a 10-3 record.
Chops a little change in there on Jaso. Gets a strike. That's the pitch he struck him out on in the 1st inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. And it misses down and in. There are only a handful of real aces in the major leagues. I mean, the guys that you would consider not only at the top of the rotation for their team, but at the top of their game compared to the rest of the starters. You think of guys like Clayton Kershaw and Madison Bumgarner, Scherzer for sure. So there are only a handful of those guys. Garrett Cole's trying to emerge as one. He certainly could be.
Not quite yet, though.
But Anderson is starting to put his name in that conversation, first with his team, and who knows, you sustain this kind of success for a while, and then you will be hearing a lot more from Chase Anderson. Full count, and Jaso strikes out. He went with a fastball. Changeup got him the first time, powered him up with a 94-mile-an-hour heater, and it's strikeout number 5 for Chase.
Might have been looking for that changeup again. He got him last time. I mean, hitters remember, so does Bandy and Anderson remember. You know, the sweet sequence last time was a changeup away. This time a fastball in, and Jaso late.
Anderson with 2 outs. He has retired the last 6. Has 4 strikeouts in that grouping of 6. And Josh Harrison now at the plate. Must be some rain coming in the area. The roof is starting to close up above. Takes about 10 minutes for the roof to go from completely open to completely closed.
Doesn't matter to us, does it? If it rains or not.
Keep on playing. Harrison into center. That ball's hit well. Back is Broxton, and he makes a catch. Over the shoulder he goes. Keon Broxton takes a hit away from a former teammate. Well done, Keon. He starts deep, got a good jump. At the last moment, a snag by the center fielder.
Miller Park. There's a big day coming at the ballpark on Saturday, July 1st. The Brewers host their annual Cerveceros Day celebration and don a special gold jersey for the matchup with the Marlins. Plus, the first 10,000 fans 21 and older get a Brewers wall flag courtesy of Miller Lite.
That'll look good right above your bar right there, Rock, that wall flag. Perfect setting. Nova back to work. We head to the Brewer half of the third. Travis Shaw will lead off. Homered against Nova his last time up. Give the Brewers the lead 2-1.
I'd have to run that by the interior designer, you know.
It's true. That's a good point. I didn't think about that when I first said it.
There are 2 rooms in the house that I have complete control over. Liberties to put anything I want.
The garage and the driveway.
The storage room.
Oh, okay, yeah. The storage room and the garage.
Yeah. And the garage not so much too.
Shaw with 2 career homers off Nova. Hits that one hard. Pulls it into the crowd. We've got a good crowd on hand today for a day game in Milwaukee. See a lot of little leaguers, a lot of groups in the ballpark today as well. It's great to see. And as this team continues to thrive, you figure the crowds are going to jump. That's a jam shot out to Moroff, and Shaw's retired. Let's check in with Sophia. She's got some news and notes. What do you have for us, Soph?
Yeah, time for our T-Mobile Unlimited baseball break. Some news from Chicago. Kyle Schwarber will be going down to AAA, down to Iowa this season. It's been a tough one for him. A 171 average, 12 home runs in 64 games, and in the month of June, he was just 9 for 46. With 15 strikeouts. So Joe Madden opting to send Kyle Schwarber down to AAA to get things straightened out. Another Cubs note for you, Jason Hayward is going on the 10-day disabled list with a right hand laceration, which he suffered at PNC Park. And former reliever for the Brewers, Jeremy Jeffress, also going on the 10-day DL. He has a lower back strain for Texas.
Boy, that is big news in Chicago. Schwarber, a World Series hero, came back from ACL surgery. That's a big step when you send him back to the minor leagues. But it just goes to show you that there's no givens in this game. And those who have sustained success deserve a lot of credit. There's a fly ball to right by Perez. And there's out number 2.
It's not just raw ability. I mean, you have to be able to, understand how to make adjustments. When teams make adjustments to you, whether you're a pitcher or a hitter, you got to be able to, go back and forth. What works for you early on might not work for you as your career goes. And Schwarber having a rough time of it, and probably might be the best thing for him to go down and a little bit of pressure. He's going to get a lot of at bats, and the Cubs having a rough time of it. And then Jason Hayward back on the disabled list.
Well, the Brewers remain atop the NL Central, and the deeper this season goes, with the Brewers hanging in there as they are and the Cubs struggling, the more pressure that will mount on the reigning world champions. The Brewers are free and easy right now. They're not at the position in their timeline where they're feeling pressure of a pennant race because nobody expected them to be here. They've got a lot of young players, or inexperienced players, probably better stated. But it's been a fun ride, and the talent is certainly there. You get a few things shored up, especially in the bullpen. I think the Brewers feel like they could make a run to the postseason this year. We'll have to wait and see. The big question, the first real question, is to see what will happen as we get to the trade deadline, which is at the end of July. So you're talking about 5-6 weeks of good play. And I know Craig Counsell, he wants to win as much as anyone, and he is hoping this team can do what they are doing and maybe go add a piece if need be. We'll see. Bouncing ball by Bandy. That's right to Mercer, and that'll be a 3-up, 3-down inning, the first of the day for Ivan Nova. And a reminder that the can't miss event of the summer hits South Beach. Baseball's biggest stars will take the field for the MLB All-Star Game July 11th. It is only on Fox. How many Brewers will be at the All-Star Game? Should we throw Corey Knebel's name into the ring? Certainly we should. Corey Knebel is having a fantastic season. He leads all Major League relievers in strikeouts, and he just tied a Major League record last night. Consecutive games to start a year by a reliever with at least one strikeout. He's done it 37 consecutive games. He is now tied Aroldis Chapman. It's a great honor. When he had a gutsy save last night, he was rewarded with terrific defense.
I think I'd be stunned if he didn't make it, if he continues on this pace that he's at. I'm not saying he's going to strike out a hitter in every appearance. I mean, you would figure that's going to come to an end at some point, but if he continues to dominate, and that earned run average is under 1 right now, I mean, incredible stuff out of Corey Knebel. Question is, how many All-Stars will the Brewers have?
Those are the two that are tied for the record right now of consecutive games with a strikeout. That's a high fly ball into left center, hit well, and it is gone. A home run for Gregory Polanco. Ties the game at 2. Number 5 for Polanco.
Well, he's got some kind of an opposite field stroke. Good power that way. And he connects on a pitch up and away from Chase. Fastball, and he centers on it, and Chase knew right away. He could hear it. You know, the crack of the bat. These guys know when they give one up. That ball not coming back.
And so a couple of solo homers in this game, one by Polanco, the other by Shaw. And we're all even at 2 apiece now. Top of the 4th inning. Josh Bell, who singled in a run his first time up. Anderson's only given up 8 home runs this year. He gave up 2 in his last start against the Padres. Surrendered 3 runs in 7 innings in that game. He can manage, though, when they are solo homers, which has been the case for Chase Anderson.
Yeah, 5 of the 8 home runs have come in just 2 starts. Gave up 3 one night, and 2 his last time out.
Native Texan, he's from the Dallas area. Jams Bell that time, fouls it away. Chase always honors his late father, Robert, when he makes home starts. Still wears the clothing that belonged to his dad, the cowboy boots, the belt buckle and all. Little tapper. Chase over to make the play. A little flip sidearm in time for the out. Bell's retired, and the first out of the 4th inning. And Chase always writes the initials of his dad. Can make out the R there.
And named his son after his father.
And he calls his son Hunter, Robert Hunter. He's a cute looking kid. First Father's Day as a big leaguer for Chase Anderson. That was a special day. There's a lot of Brewers that experience Father's Day for the first time. With a young team, you get a lot of young families, I suppose. It's a bouncing ball. Sogard rounds it, fires sidearm in time. Just making hard plays look easy, these guys.
Yeah, had the right guy running down the line, the catcher. I mean, Diaz doesn't run all that well, but Sogard made that play look easy. You see where he's playing pretty much straight away on Diaz. He's got a good soft hands on the backhand. And going away from first base right on the money.
Sogard has a good strong arm as well.
It's going to be interesting to see what the Brewers do when Jonathan Villar comes back. I mean, it's going to be awfully difficult to justify keeping Sogard on the bench. As good as he's been.
Yep, Sogard has not committed an error. He's not only making the routine plays, but he's had a knack for the spectacular as well. The double play started yesterday will go down as one of the great ones on the year for Eric Sogard. This is it right here.
Yeah, a little change up to Arcia, and Orlando able to do the rest.
Craig Counsell raving about Sogard and Arcia before the game today. You get a middle infield that is as tight, airtight as these two. It changes a lot. Baseball forever has been, from a defensive perspective, has been centered around the up the middle defenders. Catcher, second baseman, shortstop, center fielder. It changes a little bit in this era because of all the shifting, but the idea is that most batted balls go in that window, and that's why those guys get the most chances.
Yeah, it used to be you didn't really have to be a big hitter playing those positions. And that was a long time ago. Your corner guys were your offensive threats, the third base, first, right and left. But right now, this day and age, you got to hit no matter where you're playing. Everybody's got to hit. The bat plays. They'll find a place for you if you can hit.
Well, the challenge with VR coming back with everybody playing as they are, and you never know about injuries and slumps and whatnot, and as Craig Counsell always says when we go into this discussion, it has a way of working itself out. But they're all playing well. They're all hitting well. VR can play second, short, third. He's essentially the starting second baseman this year, but he is a shortstop by trade, so he's versatile. Sogard can play all three positions over there. I'm sure it'll be a round robin of playing time, but
it's going to be tough because everybody's hitting. I mean, not consistently, but I mean, I think the infield is starting to get some consistency with their bats. Arcia has really made great strides offensively over the last few weeks.
Well, if everybody's performing well, Counsell is a believer in regular rest. So every 4 to 5 days a guy gets a day off. That means you can function with 4 infielders. The real challenge will be when VR and Braun come back together, and then what do you do with guys like Hernan Perez and then Sogard? And these were the two that were kind of bouncing around and serving as the utility roles, but they've been thriving in their everyday roles. Don't want to disrupt that too much.
That's why they make the big bucks.
That's right. So you want to be a big league manager, right?
Yeah, tough decisions.
And it is not hardly only managing the in-game scenarios, managing the personalities, the playing time, especially in a National League setting. Make sure you're getting enough playing time for what you would have as your bench on a particular day, so they're ready. All comes into it. One and two the count. The batter is Max Moroff, second baseman today. And a swing and a miss. He struck him out to end the inning. After a leadoff home run, Chase comes back, retires the next 3, now with 6 strikeouts. But we're all tied at 2 after Polanco goes deep.
Dodgers outfielder Yasiel Puig made headlines again for this home run trot. It was a 3-run shot in the 4th inning at Dodger Stadium. Reportedly, Puig had taken exception to the Mets walking Jock Peterson in front of him, so he returned the favor with a 32-second home run trot around the bases. Wilmer Flores chirping at Puig to maybe hustle a little bit more in that jog. And there were plenty of post-game comments. Wilmer Flores speaking out. Puig also spoke on the field with Yoenis Cespedes, Jose Reyes, so it drew a lot of conversation about Puig and perhaps a lack of respect for the game, and that's certainly fired up about that one.
A time-honored tradition in Major League Baseball. Broxton gets a bunt down, and the strong-arm Diaz will take care of him on the first pitch of the inning.
All because somebody was walked in front of him. I mean, really?
I know where you stand on it, and what was interesting is the ball hit the stands in the bleachers at Dodger Stadium. Puig wasn't even halfway to first base yet when it hit the stands. I mean, I think if you're Yasiel Puig, you do that. You expect a little backlash. I'm sure he's not surprised.
I don't think he cares, actually.
No, I don't think he does
I really
at all.
don't think he cares about what anybody thinks.
His teammates probably do, though, because that's usually when it starts getting dicey.
Well, I know the only ones that are going to be able to, stop him from doing it.
Arcia swings at the first pitch, and there is the second out. 2 pitches, 2 outs for Ivan Nova here in this 4th inning for the Brewers.
Thing is, I mean, the way things are in Major League Baseball, you can't really police the situation yourself. I mean, there are heavy fines or suspensions and things like that. Didn't used to be that way. Back in the old days, there were ways for guys to pay for stuff like that. Not so much anymore.
Well, what you don't like about it, what really gets to the core of it all, is there are a lot of kids watching this game, and they mimic their heroes, their favorite players, and respect for the opponent. You can be angry and you can compete and you can do things, and there will be jawing at times, but you just want to see more respect for an opponent. And when you don't have it, it does become big news, because Puig knows there will be very little repercussion for it.
Right.
Like you're saying back in your day, and I'm not condoning throwing at players either. That's the way that was always handled, but it looks bad, and it's a bad look all the way around.
But that was part of the game back then. We're not talking about guys getting hit in the head.
Right.
I mean, but you do stuff like that. I mean, there are certain things that happen, and you're going to pay for it, and you won't do it again.
Nova makes that a very quick 4th inning. 3 up and 3 down, and we go to the 5th, all tied at 2. Center field, Cordero's back, Cordova's back, and it's off the top of the wall and gone again. Fastball back up the middle. Arcia ranges over, gloves, he throws, and out at first. Oh my goodness!
Are you kidding me or what?
What a play! Orlando Arcia Thrilling finishes on the homestand. The Brewers have won 3 on this homestand thus far, trying to make it a winning homestand with a win here today against the Pirates. Took 2 out of 3 from San Diego, dropped the first 2 in this series with Pittsburgh, and then that thriller last night. Chase Anderson on the mound, 2-2 game. He and Ivan Nova, after giving up some early runs, and then Polanco going deep on Anderson last inning. All knotted up through 4. Start the 5th with Jordy Mercer leading off for Pittsburgh.
You know, one more thing about that Yasiel Puig thing. You know, teams aren't able to take care of situations like that like they used to. How about like a taunting ejection?
15 yards for unsportsmanlike conduct.
Throw them out. They have it in football, right? I mean, it's a penalty, but that's a way to curtail a lot of that stuff that goes on.
Fly ball to right. Backing up on it, Santana, and he's got it for out number 1.
I like that idea.
I don't know. I think the public shaming by our fine TV analysts is sufficient.
Have I shamed him?
I think Yasiel Puig would feel really bad about.
I'm not shaming him. We're just talking about it. He can do whatever he wants. I mean, if
just
the Mets don't take care of it, what do we care?
I'm with you, man.
Right? I mean,
I hate seeing it.
It's up to them.
Just because we don't like seeing it doesn't mean it's going to change. But it's just so disrespectful.
I think we should go on a campaign on a taunting ejection in baseball. I know you don't like it. You like the whole taunting thing, don't you?
No, not at all. No, I can't stand that part of it. I really don't.
I mean, it's one thing to take 30 seconds or more to get around the base, but he's just staring guys down all the way around. That's unsportsmanlike. Do they have anything like that in basketball?
Well, you have.
You can't hang on the rim,
sure,
right?
You get a technical for taunting and all kind of.
They don't have anything like that in baseball.
I like it. You're starting a movement now. We should create a hashtag.
Of course, the problem is a lot of people like that stuff.
There is a bit of a wrestling quality to it. Swing and a miss. And Anderson strikes out Nova. Second out of the inning.
Hey, spent some time with the crew over 4th of July weekend. The Marlins come to town for a 3-game set, and all fans at the ballpark for the series finale on Sunday, July 2nd, get a Zach Davies Stars and Stripes bobblehead, courtesy of Clement Sausage.
What was the maddest you've ever been and the biggest retribution you ever had in a Major League Baseball game? I mean, did you ever even consider a stare down like that or a slow trot?
No. I mean, nobody did. I mean, you didn't see a lot of that. I mean, the worst thing was, the Jeffrey Leonard flap down thing around the bases. You didn't see anything like they do these days. Because of, try and do that against Nolan Ryan.
Nolan Ryan. I mean, even if you looked at him wrong.
I mean, they would be surgically removing a baseball from your ear. I mean, if you did that.
I don't like that part of the game either. I mean, there's a fly ball into center field. And Broxton's there, and Anderson comes back with a quick inning. So that's a good bounce back for Chase after giving up the home run in the 4th. 3 up, 3 down, 5th.
Brewers pitcher Matt Garza and his teammates for the Brewers Bowl-a-thon coming up on Sunday, August 13th. You can enjoy a silent auction and bowling with Brewers players while raising money for the Joy House, a shelter to help women and children reclaim their lives from homelessness. To sign up today, visit brewers.com/bowling, or you can call 414-902-4581.
All right, Sophia, thanks. Looking forward to that great event. Do a little bowling a little bit later in the year. Good crowd on hand today on a Thursday afternoon. Brewers Pirates. Eric Sogard will lead off. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning. 2-2 game. Pirates jumped out early, scored a run in the first. Brewers got 2 in the bottom of the first. Travis Shaw homered. Thames had the other RBI. And then Gregory Polanco tied it in the 4th inning with a solo home run to lead off. Sogard with a 10-game hitting streak. 2 hits today, a double and a single. Now 13 multi-hit games in his 27th start of the year. Start of the year in AAA. He's been an impact player from the get-go when he's been in the lineup, and has found his way in the leadoff spot. Gets under this one. Long run over for Jaso, and he's got it for the out.
Man, it hadn't been too often where Sogard's gone back-to-back games without a hit. I think he did it once, but hadn't been too often. I mean, he's been very consistent getting on base. Good against lefties. And Sogard actually a .321 batting average against lefties this year.
Powerball home run leaderboard. Eric Thames at the top with 20 homers on the year. Second in the National League in home runs. Right now, the major league leader in homers is a rookie, Aaron Judge of the Yankees. He's hit 24. There are 4 players in the AL with 20 homers. There are 4 in the National League now with 20. Cody Bellinger, another rookie with the Dodgers. He's the National League leader. And talk about a guy who's all-star worthy. The overall numbers for Thames are strong. An OPS at .966. There's 20 home runs. At the walk-off, his first career walk-off home run earlier on this homestand.
And he can't wait to get to Cincinnati. Yeah, Brewers go to Cincinnati next week. He's got 8 home runs against the Reds.
That's his spot. That's the NL leaderboard right now with Bellinger, the home run leader. 2 rookies lead in the home run category. Two balls, 2 strikes. Nova's put up 3-0 since a 2-run first. Hit hard, caught by Mercer. Timed his jump perfectly. Shift was on, and Thames is retired. Tough luck for him.
Yeah, hit that one hard, even though he got it down on the trademark just a bit. Yeah, fastball from Nova up in the zone, just a little bit off the sweet spot. And Jordy Mercer able to make the catch.
Two outs for Domingo Santana now. Two 2-0 on Domingo. Everyday right fielder for the Brewers. Brewers have a number of versatile pieces, but right field, shortstop, third base are pretty much the guarantees on a daily basis. First base is becoming that way with Eric Thames. Nova deals a 2-1 and a strike. 2-2 now. He is a strike throwing machine, Ivan Nova. Came into this game today with only 9 walks all year. 6-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. There's a hot shot through for a base hit. Santana pulls one through the hole. And a 2-out single for Domingo.
And first hit for the Brewers since Sogard got a base hit in the 2nd inning. Noah had a nice consecutive streak getting outs. That fastball leaked out over the plate just enough. Santana able to barrel it up and into left field.
Nova had retired 10 in a row. And that base hit with 2 outs will bring Travis Shaw to the plate. Shaw in his first at bat launched one into deep right center. Home run number 14 for Travis. He is approaching a career high in homers already. Yanks that one foul. First inning, the Brewers had tied it up 1 apiece. Shaw steps in there with 2 outs and nobody on, and takes a breaking ball down in the zone and golfs it out of here to deep right center.
Yeah, that's nice. Able to get down on that pitch, level it out, and knock it out of here. Brewers able to get the Nova before he settled in.
A mild-mannered trip down the gauntlet for Shaw. Travis has hit 12 of his 14 home runs against right-handed pitchers this year. His career high for home runs is 16, which he hit last season in Boston. Did that in 145 games. He's hit 14 in 64 games. And that one is foul. He was taking a run at that wide open space. Last 3 seasons for Shaw, mostly as a platoon player with the Red Sox in 15 and 16. This is the first real chance he's had to be an everyday player, and he is cashing in a big way. He's hit lefties.
And more patient at the plate. Their on base percentage about 40+ points higher. More playing time, more relaxed you get, better chance you're going to be swinging at strikes.
1-2 the count. Runner at first, Santana. 2-minute out. And he pulls it fair. Down into the corner it goes. Santana around third. He's coming home. Here comes the throw. Santana the slide. He's safe. Shaw will be out at third. The inning will end, but the Brewers take the lead on a Travis Shaw double. Count the run. 3-2 Milwaukee. And Shaw drives in another. He's the club leader in RBIs. Give him 50 for the season. Santana racing all the way around to score the go-ahead run. time a double and an RBI, gives the Brewers a 3-2 lead. Twice he's put the Brewers ahead. Hey, you can guarantee your seat for the Bucks' 50th anniversary return to the Mecca. It's this fall with our 43-game Super Pass. Visit foxsportswisconsin.com/upcoming events for details. 17th pick that the Bucks will have tonight. Draft will get underway this evening. We wish him the best. New general manager. And big picks coming. Wish John Horst and company the best. Chase Anderson now pitching with a lead once again. Josh Harrison leads off. Harrison was hit by a pitch his first time up. He stole second, scored the first run. He's hitless since.
This guy might be the toughest out right now in this Pirates lineup. Seeing the baseball well. He's been centering on a lot of pitches. Corey Knebel struck him out last night. 9th inning and a long at bat.
That was a 9-pitch at bat yesterday. And Knebel struck him out on an outside corner fastball, high outside corner fastball. Anderson trying to hit that same spot. 3-1 to Harrison. Polanco to follow. Tough part of the order for the Pirates in the 6th inning. And Anderson missed. Harrison draws a walk. And a base stealer is aboard to lead off this 6th inning.
And base stealer on base, and you know he's going to take off. He loves to take those extra bases. And yeah, with nobody out, middle of the order coming up, we'll see.
Gregory Polanco at the plate. Homered his last time up. Opposite field smash. Bullpen activity. Jared Hughes, the former Pirate. Polanco pulls one foul. Harrison with 9 steals already. Stole 19 last year. Looks like he wants to run. Stays put, and Polanco takes a ball. Polanco had a day off from the starting lineup yesterday. Did see him in a pinch hit appearance. Struck out. Jacob Barnes struck him out yesterday. On the ground, Sogard's over. His only play is first. That will advance Harrison, but one man out in the 6th.
Yeah, got him out in front of a nice off-speed pitch down and in. Hey, today's time of the game winner, Kellner International Bar and Grill in Wisconsin Rapids. If they call the Brewers by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, they get 40 tickets to a Friday night game in the Miller Lite Beer Pen. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite. That's a mouthful right there. Kellner International Bar and Grill in Wisconsin Rapids. Got to go with the small font on that.
I like the International Bar and Grill feel, though. Everybody's welcome. Harrison takes off, throw to third, and out at third. Josh Harrison cut down by Bandy. And there's the other side of that aggressive base running.
That's just bad base running. You got the number 4 hitter up. I mean, that's your cleanup hitter. You're ready in scoring position. He's just trying to make too much happen. I mean, this is one of those things where if you take off, you better make it. And Josh Harrison and out at third base. Brewers will take it. Second time he's been caught at third base in this series.
Got caught there yesterday. So 2 outs, nobody on. Bell the batter. And now he is in a 2-0 count. Josh Bell with an RBI single in the first inning.
Typically, they don't want to be caught stealing with your cleanup hitter at the plate ever. Especially with the speed of Josh Harrison. I mean, any kind of single he's going to score. I get what he's trying to do, get to third base for less than 2 where he can score on a fly ball, but if you take off in those spots, you better make it. Remember, we had the same discussions regarding Jonathan Villar last year.
Yeah, the old line, take what the game gives you.
Yeah, don't force it. That's a break for the Brewers, though.
Three and 1 to count on Bell. And he swings and lifts one in the air to left. Playable. Hernan Perez is under it, and that will retire the side. So Harrison gets cut down at third. Bandy throws him out. Jet Bandy's due up as we go to the home 6th. Brewers lead it. Final game of this series. It's 3-2 Milwaukee.
Showstopper in baseball last night. Braves outfielder Matt Kemp came up with a walk-off home run in the 11th, a 2-run shot against the San Francisco Giants. The Braves have won each of those games against the Giants. That's Kemp's 7th career walk-off home run, but his first since July of 2012, and that's been a story for the Braves. They now have 6 walk-off wins on the season. That leads all of the big leagues.
All right, thanks, Sophia. Good celebration there in Atlanta. We're going to see the Braves tomorrow night. Brewers Braves open up a 3-game series tomorrow night. And our first look at SunTrust Park in the suburbs of Atlanta. No longer in downtown Atlanta. Hernan Perez will, I beg your pardon. Perez, I'm sorry, will lead off. I had it off on my score sheet. My apologies. You're supposed to check that for me, Rock.
Did you forget that Shaw made the last out?
I
ran into an out at third base.
I didn't forget. I just
didn't write it down.
Didn't. I have my little thing. I put a little doohickey that sends you to the next inning, and there was no doohickey accounted for. And with no doohickey, I'm completely lost.
Yeah, aren't we all?
It is Perez and then Bandy. And a strike from Nova. Hernan reached on an infield hit in the first inning. And he chases one this time. That'll be a strikeout for Nova to start the 6th inning. Well, we're talking about the Braves series. A good time to bring up our Miller Lite What's on Tap. We are on the air at 5:30. 1 hour pregame from the Dells tomorrow. Jimmy Nelson against Mike Fultonevich. So 1 hour pregame.
That's right, the Dells.
Sophia will be at the Dells.
Dells
Everybody,
weekend.
Greg Kashan will be there.
Oh, you're going to be going down water slides again?
In his Speedo. Brett Reland is going to, I think he's going to go give us some really artsy camera work down the slides with the GoPro. So we need to make sure there's a camera on Brent, our producer, doing that.
What's he going to do? Where is he anyway?
He's mesmerized up there thinking about the Dells.
Gonna strap on the boiler cam again?
Not Craig, man. He's like Ned Flanders, man. He's yoked up.
Washboard.
It's always fun to take Craig Kashan on location, especially in the state of Wisconsin. Bandy into right center, and that's going to fall. A base hit. Well, he needed that in the worst way. It snaps an 0 for 24 at the plate for Bandy.
Well, doing it to the opposite field. I mean, Bandy normally a pull hitter. He likes to pull the baseball, but waits back, and pitch away from, and just drives it out in that direction. So Bandy's been on a couple of times, hit by a pitch in the first, and now a base hit.
We'll see if that'll get him going now. He was off to a great start at the plate this year. Keon Broxton with Bandy at first, 1 man out. 3-2 Brewers lead it here in the 6th inning. In the dirt, skips by Diaz, and Bandy's on his way to second. There you go. A wild pitch.
Yeah, Diaz not able to square up on the breaking pitch from Nova. And Jet Bandy not real fleet of foot, able to get in there easily. There's that curveball. Kind of hits him on the side and carries him over toward the third baseline. Man in scoring position.
Pirates outfielders play it deep. Broxton with big pop. Keon has 11 homers. He's 0 for 2 today against Nova. Broxton had a hit last night. Drove in a run. Had a walk last night. RBI came 2 nights ago. Hit 2 game-tying home runs earlier in the homestand against San Diego. Well, another run here would go a long way for the Brewers' hopes to win this one and split this series.
Let's see if Craig Counsell gives him the green light here on 3-0. Yeah, get a fastball out away from a little bit, about mid-thigh, give it a ride. That's his sweet spot.
3 balls, no strikes, 1 out in the inning. Bandy with a short lead at second. Broxton takes. Inside corner strike.
And not a good pitch to swing at right there on 3-0. Good take.
Jan Marinez in the bullpen, the former Brewer, getting loose. Hitters count for Keon. See what Nova gives him. Lost him. A fastball, but he missed with it. Broxton is aboard.
First walk.
His 10th walk of the season for Ivan Nova. He's been among league leaders in strikeout to walk ratio among starters. 4th in the National League. He's 6th overall in baseball in that category. Not a big strikeout pitcher, and he very rarely walks batters. And when he walks a man, he gets a visit from Ray Searage.
They get RC up already. Jesus Aguilar is in the on-deck circle. Apparently the day for Chase Anderson is over.
Chase is through 6 innings. A rested bullpen. So Aguilar due next, it looks like. Right now it's Orlando Arcia. Chase still thinking he might get an at-bat. There is a scenario you would imagine he'd hit if Arcia would drive in a couple of runs or maybe go deep here. You could certainly see Anderson returning. But the Brewers need some offense, trying to add to their 3-2 lead. First and second, 1 man out. Pulls it on the ground. Harrison goes to second for out number 1, and a double play, and the inning is over. 5-4-3 double play to end it. Brewers lead 3-2. We're on our way to the 7th inning. Ball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Matinee baseball on a Thursday afternoon at Miller Park. Roof is closed up. We have some storms in the area. 3-2 our score. The Brewers lead it. And Rock, how about Chase Anderson? He is out. 6 good innings though.
Yeah, once again able to keep the ball in the ballpark. He did give up the 1 home run to Polanco, but once again Anderson 6 innings, 2 runs, a couple of walks, 7 strikeouts, and once again had the off-speed stuff working beautifully. And that curveball has been nasty all year. The changeup has been one of those pitches that get him out of trouble. And Jared Hughes takes over here in the 7th inning.
A former Pirate, still in the Pittsburgh Pirates media guide, which is where he began his campaign. Spring training was with the Pirates. Felt like everything was going to be a Pittsburgh story this year, but how fast it can change in this game. And the Pirates took him off the roster. The Brewers snatched him up, and Hughes is starting to put it together again.
Yeah, last pitch on Saturday against the Padres. He's only given up 1 earned run in his last 8 1/3 innings. That covers 9 outings.
Pitching against his old club. I'm sure there's always a little bit extra there from a team that took you off their major league roster. There's a ground ball to Arcia, waiting back, flips it over to first. A slingshot for out number 1.
That's his first chance today on a ground ball.
Well, I don't blame him for not hitting it to Arcia.
Yeah, try somebody else, right?
If only. Why'd he hit it over there? It's a routine out. Counsell was raving about Arcia today, and of course, in very Craig Counsell fashion, he didn't want to talk much about the great play last night because, as he said, his initial thought was don't throw it. But what he wanted to talk about was how terrific he's been with the routine, making the plays that you need your shortstop to make, being in the right position. And Sophia was down there as well. But the comment that he made, which really struck me, is that he plays on his feet, meaning a lot of shortstops will dive for baseballs. They'll leave their feet often to get to balls. And his point was Arcia has such great instincts and quickness and range that you don't see him leave his feet very often. And if he does, it's in a very controlled manner, with the idea that you're getting back to a position to throw a ball.
And he's a lot taller than you think. I mean, you would think, you know, a shortstop like that, kind of a small guy, but he's long and lanky. I'm sure he's going to grow into that body, and he's not. He's going to look a lot different in the next few years. That muscle mass will start to come.
There's a strike to McCutchen. 3 balls, 2 strikes on a former MVP, now in the 6th spot in the batting order for the Pirates. 1 out in the 7th. And Hughes will start it over again. I've never heard anybody describe a player that way. A player likes to, or has the ability to stay on his feet as McCutchen draws the walk. And Sophia, when you're Craig Counsell and everybody wants to talk about the great play he made last night, he takes things back a notch, puts it in perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. And he said it's the plays that he made last night to finish that game, those edge of his range plays that certainly get all of the attention, you know, not just locally, but nationally as well. But he said it's just the full body of work for him. He said, as you said, he plays on his feet. He doesn't dive as much as maybe other shortstops do. He says there's just a kind of graceful rhythm to the way he plays. And he pointed to a game in Arizona. It was a lopsided loss, but he said Arcia made 5 plays that he said they all look fairly easy that are actually pretty difficult. So he said that's the gift of those elite defensive players. He said even some of those double play turns, he pointed to the play that he and Eric Sogard made in the 2nd inning with bases loaded. So certainly there's a great foundation there for Arcia, and we're really starting to see all those elite defensive skills come out now this season, even to what we saw last year.
Yeah, once again, and we talk about it on our open today, he has far exceeded the expectations that we had anticipated when he came up, and they were pretty high. I mean, we were told that this kid is a Gold Glover right now. This is when he was down in the minor leagues. He comes up, and I think he surprised everybody. Even with those high expectations, it's tough to live up to that, once in a while. But I don't think it bothers him too much. Incredible stuff, and he's still learning. And just wait till he learns how to position himself based on who's pitching, and when he starts to understand the hitters. Get to learn the hitters in this league, and you're going to see something.
Hope he has a long career here. The Brewers have had a number of really great shortstops through the years. You think back to Alcides Escobar and J.J. Hardy prior to that. Of course, an MVP as a shortstop in Robin Yount. So there's a nice history for Milwaukee shortstops. But Arcia is a different kind of player defensively, with the range and the arm and just enough guts.
You see a lot of guys with the range. You see a lot of guys with the arm. You see guys with instincts. You also see guys that play with no fear, but not all of them have all those qualities. I think Arcia does.
Swing and a miss by Moroff.
See, this right here is a good example, BA, of why, hitting in the number 6 spot might not be in the best interest of the Pirates from McCutchen. They got an out, even the last time up in the 4th inning, home run, couple of outs, they pitch around him and they strike out more often. I mean, I think the tendency is going to be, if he hits down in the batting order like that, you got 7 and 8 coming up. Might not throw him strikes. You're kind of wasting him in that spot. We'll see how it plays out.
I agree with you. Yesterday, Clint Hurdle, certainly with that in mind, elevated Jordy Mercer, who he would prefer to bat 8th in front of the pitcher. Mercer hit 7th yesterday to offer a little bit of protection for Andrew McCutchen.
Still not the same protection when you have Polanco and Bell behind you.
Now there's a way to the end and a way out as Moroff strikes out again. Or is that strike 2? I beg your pardon. 2-2. Don't mean to punch you out so early. Get 3 in this lead.
But McCutchen likes it in that number 6 spot, and I don't think Clint Hurdle wants to mess with it at this point.
He's kind of scoffed at the notion that he's ready to move back up in the lineup, but it feels like a big bat that a former MVP who is looking like that again at the plate. Not just the way he's hitting the ball, but what he does with the pitches off the plate, how he's taking pitches, fouling off tough pitches. He looks like a guy without many holes right now. 2-2. Hughes again will check on McCutchen. Big Jared Hughes at 6'7". First start of the series for Max Moroff. '23-year-old middle infielder. Former minor league player of the year in the Pirates system 2 years ago. He got a quick hit in the big leagues last year, 2 games, had 2 at-bats. But his first year in the big leagues this season, he has 3 career major league hits.
Man, tough to hit at this level when you're playing every day, let alone once in a while. And maybe once or twice a week.
Broken bat. Coming in, Arcia fumbles the ball, gets it back, but too late, and Moroff is safe at first. Arcia was thinking about perhaps 2 there. Moroff runs extremely well. So if nothing else, Arcia was trying to get the lead out, but he couldn't find the handle on the baseball.
Yep, all the talk about the unbelievable defense, and that'll be an error on Arcia, I believe. If he gets it right away, he's going to be able to get the out at second base. And that will be an E6. He's trying to be a little bit too quick, is Arcia, and that'll be an error, all hands safe, and trouble brewing here in the 7th.
And suddenly 2 on 1 out with Jordy Mercer, a hot hitter, coming up. First inning for Jared Hughes. Chase Anderson went 6 innings, 2 runs. 3-2 Milwaukee. Pirates threatened in the 7th. Hughes with the inside move. Now Hughes knows Mercer well, and vice versa. Mercer has grounded into more double plays than any other Pirate this season, 9 of them. Ground ball pitcher and a guy who hits a lot of ground balls at the plate. He's also been hot, and he has carried the load at the bottom of this order. Swing and a miss for a strike. Mercer with runners in scoring position this year is hitting .316. Chops one foul.
He doesn't strike out much. He puts the ball in play, and ordinarily guys like that are going to do well with runners in scoring position. And he uses right field very effectively and makes good contact. Angie McCutcheon bouncing around at second base, trying to disrupt the concentration of Hughes. Just got to forget about him. He's not going anywhere. Sogard jockeying him back, keeping him close.
Another inside move.
Maybe he is trying to steal. Who knows? Pirates got burned on that last inning.
Yeah, Harrison was thrown out at third base by Bandy. 0-2 the count. Pirates have 2 on with 1 out. And Mercer almost hit by a pitch.
That is one way to stay out of the double play for the guy that doesn't strike out much. You get the ground ball, you get the runners on the move, maybe you stay out of the double play. That might be why the Pirates might think about taking off.
Ground ball to third. Got it. Step on the bag. Shaw to first. Double play. Inning over. Jared Hughes works around the error. Easy as it gets. It goes 5-3. And the Brewers maintain their 1-run lead.
Lead, and it's another 5-County Friday at Miller Park on Friday, June 30th. The Brewers square off against the Marlins, and all 5-County residents can get their tickets for 50% off. Visit brewers.com/5-County to reserve your seats today. No Nova on here in the 7th inning, and he's going to have a pinch hitter, then the top of the order. Lewis Brinson going to pinch hit for Hughes in the number 9 spot.
Chase Anderson, the starter for the Brewers, out after 6 innings with 89 pitches. Only 2 earned runs. Hughes comes on, pitches the 7th. Now the bullpen is set up for Barnes and Knebel if it stays this way. Meanwhile, Nova's trying to hang in there long enough to give his offense a chance to come back. He has gone 6 innings. A lot of hits today against Nova. 9. Just the 1 walk and 4 strikeouts. 3-2 game. Brinson, Brewers' top prospect, will lead the way. Lewis now in his 2nd week in the big leagues. Made his debut against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Got his first career triple here at Miller Park. earlier in the homestand against San Diego. Good looking young player here. He's got a bright future ahead of him. When Ryan Braun returns to the active roster, his playing time, you figure, will be cut short. There's Brinson on a grounder, and Harrison takes care of him for out number 1.
And it's a good opportunity to just get your feet wet at the major league level for Lewis Brinson next time he comes back, if indeed he does get sent down when Braun comes back. Well, he's going to have more of a know what to expect when he comes up.
Top of the order now. Here's Eric Sogard at the plate, presented by Wendy's. 2 hits, a double and a single. He has scored a run. He's 2 for 3.
And one thing you want is, if your top prospect comes to the major leagues, you want him to play a lot.
Yeah.
And he has had some sporadic playing time. Let's get him down to the minor leagues at some point and have him playing every day and continue that process of becoming that consistent player.
Got the call, and a strike on the edge against Sogard. 1-2 now. Second time in his career Nova's matched up against Chase Anderson. And the Brewers are hoping this score holds up. Nova made 2 starts against the Brewers last year. One of those was a win. He pitched well. He beat Chase Anderson last season in August right here at Miller Park. Gave up a home run to VR that day, the only run. Sogard off the end of the bat. It's sinking fast. It's down. Base hit. Sogard on his way to second, and the throw comes in. A belly flop and a double for Eric Sogard. His 3rd hit of the game, his 2nd double.
Man's able to hook a pitch away from him. Yeah, fastball from Nova. Boy, 3 hits for him again today. Yeah, here's the pitch. It's away, kind of a little bit too much of the plate if you're Nova. But look at Sogard. High fastball, hooks it down the line in left or in right. And because Polanco playing so deep, Sogard's able to get into second base easily.
What a player. Knee surgery last year, missed all season last season. He has come back strong. Made a name for himself in this lineup. Eric Thames with a runner at second and 1 out. A big spot to try to deliver a run here. Brewers lead by 1. They've got their best relievers available today, Barnes and Knebel. Barnes is the setup man, Knebel the closer. They had 3 days off. Saw them both last night. Thames talking to himself. If you can read lips. Saying that was really bad.
I don't think you want to.
That was really bad. He'll do that. He wouldn't be the greatest poker player in the world, but he is fun to watch work because you know exactly what he's thinking.
He'd have plenty of money to lose, though.
That's true. He'd be a great opponent. He's getting a lot of invites.
He could bluff me out of a pot.
Always tracking. He's got the mental preparation, visualization. Can watch it in his eyes. It's just imagining a pitch coming in right now when he does that with his eyes.
And just do what he did in the 1st inning. That was a beautiful piece of hitting. Just serves one out in the left field.
No balls, 2 strikes. Runner at second, Sogard. Only 1 out. And Thames chases one. Doesn't bother running here, and a strikeout for Thames. You'd like to see Thames run in that spot. If nothing else, it draws a throw. It might give Sogard a chance to advance to third.
And might throw one away. You never know what can happen. And so upset with himself for swinging at that pitch. That pitch bounces a good foot in front of home plate. Diaz is able to block it and just tags Thames for the out. You got to run.
So 2 outs, runner at second. This is the guy the Brewers want at the plate. He has been clutch lately. 2-run homer last night gave the Brewers the lead. He's back up there with 2 outs this time. Santana singled off Nova in the 5th inning with 2 outs.
No pitching around him because you got Shaw on deck. That's some pretty good security for Santana. You figure he's going to get something good to hit at some point here.
This could be Nova's last hitter. With Shaw's career success against Nova, not sure Hurdle would let it ride if Santana can reach. Brewers would love to find out.
I see a right-hander in the bullpen. Not a lefty. They've got 3 of them.
Two and nothing the count on Santana. Sogard will be off with the crack of the bat. There's a strike. Good pitch. Buries that fastball in the outside corner, or at least low. Three balls and a strike. Santana can look like a free swinger at times, but he has a very good eye. He draws a lot of walks.
I am surprised that the Pirates don't have a lefty up in the bullpen for Shaw here. And because of Santana walks, no place to put him. Could be a pivotal inning for the Pirates.
Yeah, big moment right here. Brewers lead by a run. Santana hoping to add to it. His home run last night went to right field. And it's ball 4. So Nova loses Santana. And that's going to set a matchup between Nova and Shaw. And let's see if Clint Hurdle is going to make a move. He's thinking about it. Sends his pitching coach out. Other end of that phone call from the skipper, bullpen coach. A lot of wheels in motion right now. A second reliever will get loose. Juan Nicasio. I think Hurdle is going to stick with Nova here. This is a very long meeting at the mound. I'm surprised the home plate umpire Dan Bellino is letting this one go so long.
Yeah, Ray Sarage, all he's doing is biding time. He's out there as long as he can until he gets kicked off the mound.
He's telling jokes.
Letting Nicasio get loose.
Well, looks like Nova versus Shaw. Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Travis Shaw launching one out of here in the first inning. That gave the Brewers a 2-1 lead. And then his last time up in a 2-2 game, RBI double. Santana scored from first, giving the Brewers a 3-2 lead, which is right where we are. Shaw with 6 career hits against Ivan Nova, including 2 homers, and that ball's hit well left field. Jaso going back. He's at the track. He looks up. It is off the top of the wall. Comes back in. Sogard's in. Santana coming home. And Santana is out at the plate.
He thought it was a home run. He just wasn't running. I tell you, it looked like it hit off the corner of the wall, the top of the wall. Santana just wasn't running.
It'll be 1 run for sure. Let's see the replay. You know what?
Maybe it did.
I can't tell that the wall behind the fence, the green wall that has the advertisements, is recessed about 8 feet. I think it did bounce Karam back off that second wall, judging by that.
Shaw thought it was out. Santana thought it was out. Santana was pretty close to it as he was rounding second.
This is going to be a huge call. It's going to be the difference between 1 run or a 3-run home run by Travis Shaw.
I don't know.
You know, the only thing that tells me it hit the back wall, Rock, is the way the ball changed.
This will be it right here. I don't know. I don't think it goes out. I think it's right off the top of the wall. I think it hit, you know, right about in this area right here. Went straight up. I don't know. We'll see. Ruling on the field is it was in play.
See, I think it caroms off the back wall because the ball definitely changed its arc. You know, that ball's got a lot of spin on it, and it jumped up. I'm not sure it would do that if it came right off. Let's see again. So watch the difference in the ball here as it hits the yellow line. Watch how it changes its flight.
You think it hits right there off the wall? Right there off the S? And that could very well be. Let's see if it hits off that S. It's going to bounce up. Yeah, hard to tell.
Man, it is. It's tough.
Really hard to tell whether it went straight up, right back down. You see the lip right there, that edge right there below the yellow line, the yellow pad. Could very well have hit on top of that and came back into the field of play. And this is going to be hard for the umpires to overturn. It really is. We've seen all the angles. But it definitely did. It hit down there. But the question is, did it hit the back wall and then come back? I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it had good audio there. You could hear the bang.
But it's you know, it's hard to really tell for sure.
Oh, this is a big call right here. Jerry Lane has got the result. What do we have?
Oh, Santana's out at home plate.
It's called. The field stands.
Yeah, I don't blame him. Ooh.
Not a home run. 1 run is in. It'll be an RBI double for Shaw and a runner thrown out at the plate. I don't know. End the inning, thinking it was a home run, just jogged into an out. Sogard did score the run. That is our Badger Mutual Insurance run of the game. And it is 4-2 Milwaukee.
Well, you're not sure, you got to bust it. I mean, that was far from a certain homer and cost the Brewers a run.
That review lasted nearly 3 minutes. And you can understand the difficulty. You know, we're sitting here. I felt like it did carry him off the back wall. You saw it coming back. I mean, it's tough to tell once you get to that point.
You and I sitting here, we had a difference of opinion, and yeah, that's one of those that's hard to overturn. If they called it a home run, I don't think it would have been able to overturn that either.
Agreed. Jacob Barnes is now in. First man up, Adam Frazier with a pinch hit single. So pinch hitting for Nova. Frazier, who's been leading off the first 3 games in this series, is aboard, and the tying run's coming up.
And we saw Jacob in last night's ball game, tossed a scoreless 8th inning and gave up a hit but struck out the side. You know, the cut fastball was working nicely last night.
That is a huge call at the end of that inning. Would have been 6-2, and the inning still ongoing. Instead, 4-2 Brewers with the inning ending at home plate.
You can never take anything for granted in this game, and that's the thing about replay. Even, you know, when you think something's for sure, you got to bust it because you never know how it's going to turn out.
Top of the order, Jaso with a runner at first, and Frazier. Ivan Nova goes 7 today, 11 hits allowed.
That's a season high for him.
He gives up 4 runs. They are all earned runs, which matches a season high. 2 walks and 5 strikeouts. Season high in walks in a game as well, by the way. That's how good he's been. He's never walked more than 2 in any start this season. Barnes was terrific last night. He and Corey Knebel and Carlos Torres sitting at the top of the league in games pitched. They have been worked often, but they are coming into a stretch where they've had 3 days off until pitching in last night's game. So back-to-back games for Barnes, potentially Knebel. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. 97 with a fastball. Jaso's gone, out number 1 for Barnes.
Yeah, put it right down the middle, and Jaso not able to catch up to it. And that 4-seam fastball, a lot of velocity right over the top of it.
Josh Harrison now. And there's that cutter in there for a strike. Harrison walked his last time up. He was hit by a pitch in the first. Stole a base, scored a run in that first inning. Been a tough out in the last 2 days. Oh, and 2 the count. And now time is asked for and granted. Long pause there for Jacob. A strikeout pitcher. He could use one here.
And get that cutter down and away. See if Harrison will try and pull it. Get a ground ball.
And that skips away from Bandy. Frazier rounding second. Will stop there. That'll be a wild pitch. Takes the double play opportunity away.
And they just overthrew that one. And we saw Barnes in last night's ball game throw his cutter. He got it up as high as 93 miles an hour. That's cooking with a breaking pitch. That's what 3 days off will do for you.
And now Barnes wants to chat with Bandy. You got a runner at second now, maybe going through the sequencing of signs. Brewers lead 4-2. Travis Shaw's driven in 3 in this game. One and two to Harrison. Up and in. Yikes. That gets by Bandy. Frazier started then stopped. I'm sure Harrison heard that one hissing by. Man.
I'll tell you, Bandy did a good job just getting a glove on it. And that was 97. Not even close. He was looking down and away. He's able to throw the glove up there, knock it down, and Frazier has to stay at second. That's a tough play for a catcher, I can tell you. Especially when you're looking for something down and away.
Well, let's see what he does. Got him in a 2-2 count. Got him. Struck him out. 98-mile-an-hour fastball upstairs. Back-to-back Ks for Barnes, and now 2 gone in the 8th.
Man, I don't see Harrison chase like that, even with 2 strikes. That's up out of the strike zone. Up and in at 98. No chance you get a piece of that coming in that hot. That's a big out. He's been one of the toughest outs in this series.
He's been as fast as 98. That 91 is his slowest pitch, which is a slider. Not many throwing a slider in the 90s. Power pitcher if there ever was one. Jacob Barnes. And Polanco swings and fouls it back. Polanco with an opposite field homer in the 4th inning. Chase Anderson started, went 6. Jared Hughes pitched a scoreless 7th. And now Barnes, if it stays this way, Knebel for the 9th. Brewers just scored, lead at 4-2. They've out-hit the Pirates 11-3 today. Frazier started the inning with a single to right. Barnes with back-to-back strikeouts. Dangerous hitter at the plate. Barnes just struck out Harrison on a high fastball. See if he goes up there again. He does, and Polanco doesn't bite. Tying run at the plate for the Pirates. Crowd trying to get into it here. And Barnes steps off.
Yeah, Polanco likes to use left center. He's very good. He's got the power. That's where his home run came back in the 4th inning. But you also have to be careful with that cutter down and in. If you don't get it down enough and in far enough, he will drop the head on it, and got plenty of power to right as well.
Looks like maybe a little indecision here on this next pitch.
Right, I think that's what they're talking about. I mean, you know, fastball away, he's got good power that way, but maybe something up and in with the heater.
See what he lands on. No signals given. They worked it out. Runner at second. 1-2 the count. Here it comes, and a shot through for a base hit. Sogard ranges over. He's coming to the plate. Might have a play. The tag, and out at home. What a play by Sogard. Never gives up. Thames kept it alive. It went right off the end of his glove. Sogard was right there.
Well, Pirates going to want to look at it here. And Clint Hurdle not messing around. They're just going to look at it here. How about this hustle by Eric Sogard? Able to get up, make the throw a little bit on the foul side of the plate. And there's your tag. Home plate umpire Dan Bellino rings it up. We'll see. This will be the definitive angle right here. Does he get him? Oh yeah. I think Clint Hurdle's saying we're going to look at that regardless. What do we have to lose? That's a heck of a tag right there. I can't see how they can overturn that. This will be a good angle. It's a good effort by Bandy right here, going right to the plate. Oh yeah.
Man, what a play by Sogard.
What a play by Sogard. What a job by Bandy.
Yeah.
Both of them. And first of all, how about Thames knocking it down?
That's right.
That was a bullet. I mean, that ball was hit hard. So all three of them, outstanding plays. And I can't imagine they overturn this. Bandy put the glove right in front of home plate, allowed Frazier to slide right into it. And just a great play. A great play by all three of them.
Bandy's just seen a replay on the big board that makes him feel like this is a done deal. The body control of Sogard to get to his feet, make a throw like that. It's another huge decision here.
I can't imagine. I mean, they can't overturn this. That's just a tremendous play.
Brewers had a call go against him last inning on a potential 3-run homer by Shaw. Ended up as an RBI double. Now a swing call coming in review. And whoever is locked into this game as the replay umpire, they don't issue those names, but they're getting their money's worth right now because these are as close as you can get.
Yeah, I can't imagine how you can actually overturn that. I mean, if the call was safe at home plate, that would stay.
Here it comes. Out. Inning over. Wow. Sogard continues to impress. The call stands. The inning is over. And the Brewers lead by 2.
scored 3 hits. We need a little more out of you, Eric. What do you got in the tank? How about a throw home to nail the runner to end that last half inning? What a play by Eric Sogard. We'll be reviewing that one in our post-game show coming up. Going to hear from Craig Counsell as well. It's been a good ball game to watch. Chase Anderson very sharp again with his start. The Brewers going for a series split here before they hit the road. We'll talk about all of that and plenty more coming up. Rock's going to join me on the set. Sophia's got interviews. Lots going on. Brewers Live presented by Ascension after the ball game, BA.
All right, Craig, thanks. What a play to end the inning. The Brewers have a 2-run lead. Frazier will stay in the game to play left field after his pinch hit single. He was the man thrown out at the plate. And Jan Marinez is in to pitch. They move Jaso to right. So the former Brewer Marinez on for the bottom of the 8th. Brewers lead by 2. Hernan Perez will lead off. Unusual that Perez leads off an inning for the 2nd time in this game when the hitter in front of him had a base hit. Travis Shaw doubled in the 5th inning, and he was thrown out at third base after a run scored. And then last inning, Shaw doubled. Santana was thrown out at the plate. Perez is out.
Hey, All-Star Game voting closes 1 week from today, so if you haven't already submitted your 35 votes, make sure you head over to Brewers.com and fill out your ballot full of Brewers. Vote for the maximum 35 times, and you'll be entered for a chance to win a meet and greet with Ryan Braun. Let's go back to that play. Now down by 2 runs. Do you think he should have taken off at home plate on a bang-bang play down by 2 runs in the 8th?
Oh, right.
You know, I mean, if you're the tying run, maybe that might be a good risk to take. You got, you know, Bell coming up. So once again, the Pirates being a little over aggressive.
A little half swing by Bandy. It's a bouncer to Moroff who makes a play. No, I'm with you. I think this, you know, the risk reward of everything when you're an aggressive base running team. And when you're going well, we saw this the first 3 games, really, first 2.5 games of this series. When your team's going well, those things work typically. When they're not, and it looks really bad when it doesn't, and you leave big hitters at the plate often. And that's a decision you have to make. The Brewers go through that with Jonathan Villar as well. And I've talked to Craig Counsell many times about it, because Villar is that kind of player, same kind of player as a Josh Harrison, but his first reaction is always you don't want to coach it out of him, but you want him to think through the situation that is in front of you, and that's a fine line sometimes.
But you got to weigh how many times do you make bad decisions opposed to how many times you make those good decisions. And you know, the game situation will dictate, you know, how aggressive you should be. And again, that's a bang bang decision from Frazier, and you know, I'm not really saying he shouldn't have done it, but I mean, when you look at the situation and who's coming up, what the score is, I mean, a lot of times that dictates how aggressive you should be.
Took a heck of a play to get him at the plate.
And the other thing is, if that throws right on the money, he's out by 10 feet.
Right. Broxton sends one a mile high. And this will retire the side. Here we go. 9th inning. Corey Knebel on the verge of a major league record all by himself, trying to save this one and earn a split in the series. Brewers baseball this afternoon on Fox Sports Wisconsin is presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Boy, this has been another exciting game. There's been some base running blunders in this one. And some lack of hustle on a few occasions. Some reviews, challenges that have gone to review. And all of that leads us to this. Corey Knebel on the mound trying to nail down his 12th save. And a 2-run lead to work with. He'll have to go through Josh Bell, Elias Diaz, and Andrew McCutchen.
Yeah, pitched last night. Notch number 11 has been unscored upon in his last 9 appearances. That covers 9 2/3 innings. Leads all National League, or I should say, all Major League relievers in strikeouts with 64.
Josh Bell, switch hitting first baseman, has an RBI single today, and he takes strike 1 from Knebel. Travis Shaw responsible for 3 of the 4 runs that are in. The other RBI from Eric Thames. And a breaking ball in there for a strike. 0-2 the count. Knebel, 0-2 is in the dirt. Brewers will start a road trip in Atlanta tomorrow. Atlanta, Cincinnati. 6 games in 7 days. There's an off day Monday. 1-2 pitch. Well, Bell somehow fouled that away.
Yeah, we saw him do that a couple of nights ago.
He's got that emergency hang in there hack down pat.
Both feet off the ground, just trying to get a piece of it.
That's what good hitters do, though. Know how to stay alive on tough pitching. 1-2 again. Ooh, just missed. 98-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, well off the outside corner. It looked good because Bandy was setting up out there.
That was the first one prior. 2-2 now, and he got him. Struck him out. A foul tip right into the mitt of Bandy.
Yeah, the hook, it's back. He grinded with that curveball yesterday after those 3 days off, and there's that both feet off the ground swing for Bell. There's another strikeout.
And a new record. Corey Knebel stands alone now, passing Aroldis Chapman for consecutive games with at least 1 strikeout as a reliever to start a season. That goes back to 1900. Nobody's ever done it. And when you can say that in the game of baseball, you've said something. Corey Knebel starts a curveball to Diaz. Brewers lead by 2, 9th inning. Looking for back-to-back wins to split this series. One and one the count to the Pirate catcher. Strike. 1-2. Cubs play later tonight in Miami. They begin a road trip. They've got Jake Arrieta on the mound. Brewers trying to maintain their lead in the division. At a game and a half. Put a win on the board early. 1-2 pitch. Swinging a foul. Diaz had a big cut.
Good fastball up in the zone.
Cardinals lost today 5-1. So the Brewers can add a game on St. Louis and go up 5. A win would put them 6 up on the Pirates. A win would give the Brewers a winning homestand as well. 4-3. Series win against San Diego and 2 outs away from a split against the Pirates. 2-2 the count. Diaz 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Slashes one foul. Better contact for him that time.
Yeah, he got a quick bat, does Diaz. Knebel been trying to put him away with a good hook. Just not able to get it close enough to the strike zone.
Two. Missed with a fastball. Count full now. Trying to keep the tying run on deck. This is a must pitch right here.
Yeah, you got to make this guy hit his way on. You got McCutchen coming up. He could tie it in a hurry.
No doubt. Payoff pitch. Popped him up. Thames in foul territory for out number 2.
There you go. And McCutchen can't do too much damage to you now.
His command has been impeccable for Corey Knebel. Even when he's gotten hurt, when he's had the blown saves, it's not because of walks. It's because he gave up a couple of home runs in the 9th inning. But he's making big pitches when it counts. I tell you, that game changes a lot. His game changes if Diaz draws a walk, and now you got to deal with McCutchen. Instead, tying run still on deck. And one last piece to the puzzle, a former MVP at the plate. McCutchen has an extremely quick bat. He can handle the high velocity. 6 hits in the series for McCutchen. He's been on twice today with walks. That's a strike. Well placed fastball that time.
Man, not going to do much with that.
Strike 2. 1-2 now. Knebel a strike away. Here it comes. Curveball, jam shot, pop up. Arce is back. He wants it, and the ball game is over. The Brew Crew coming back in the series, winning the final 2 games, and a 4-2 win over the Pirates. Sogard with a big day. 3 hits and a spectacular defensive play. Shaw drives in 3. Including his 14th home run of the year. Makes a winner out of Chase Anderson. He's now 6-2, and Knebel notches save number 12. Good job, Rock. We'll see you in Atlanta, my friend.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Looking forward to seeing that new ballpark.
Brewers start a 6-game road trip in Atlanta coming up tomorrow. Right now, we've got Brewers Live coming your way. Craig Kashawn is the host. He is standing by. Take it away, Craig.
All right, Bean, looking forward to this one as the Brewers win it here again today. Travis Shaw, one of the offensive heroes, to be sure. And a record setter for Corey Knebel. The Brewers even up the series before they head on the road. Plenty on the way. Brewers Live, presented by Ascension.